What's up, guys? This is Skater Scott 007 Gaming here, and we're looking at this car today. Honestly, forgot the name of it. I know it's a Toyota. Oh, it's a Toyota Celica 2000. It's an older, it's a classic car. You know, it's a lot of boot space. Boot space. I'm not from Europe. I can't use that term. It's a big trunk. Nice looking engine. And what we're gonna do in this series, and I'm sorry for being away for a while, guys. I just didn't get into the mood for YouTube in a long time. I was in a pretty deep place, I guess. I don't know why. But better yet, let's get on to this. This series I'm making right now is gonna be comparing. Let me let you listen to this. I'm just kidding. Alright, so we're gonna be comparing stock cars to their upgraded predecessor, and we're gonna compare it like lap times and stuff on this map. I chose this map because it's got decently long straights, and it's got only a few of them. It's got nice sweeping corners there's gonna be very difficult for rear-wheel drive vehicles, and this car had a very hard time with the longer corners because this car had two major, like, very bad points to it. It was very tall, and it was rear-wheel drive, and those two things going around a corner are not very good, because you could see all the body roll it's getting through these corners, and plus it's rear-wheel drive, so that's just going to push out the rear end even more than it was going to before, since it's rear-wheel drive. And we're going to compare lap times with this car, and when we're finished with this lap, I'm going to go upgrade this to a pretty much max. It's going to be max upgraded, most likely. And then we're going to compare the lap times we get with that car and see how much of a difference adding all those upgrades really, like, decreases the amount of time on a lap. And so with this car, you can see right there the body roll and the rear end is just killing it with this. It's pretty bad. And with this corner right here, it's going to be very difficult because this is a very slow corner, but it's extremely sharp. And most cars can't get stopped in time, since that's from a straightaway. Most cars can't get stopped in time for that right there. And I don't know what to fill this blank space with, so at the moment I'm just gonna have just no talking. And this is pretty much my first that's bad shift. What is it called? A commentary. This is one of my first commentaries I've ever made, so it's gonna be pretty rough, and I'm not expecting it to be very good, but I'm hoping to see positive support down in the comments. But at the end of each race with the stock car and the upgraded car, I'm gonna do a wheelie test, or not a wheelie, a burnout test to see how much power they got to the drive wheels. And this got pretty good. It's not a lot, but it can make some good amounts of smoke. I'm just doing this because it's something fun to do. It's not really gonna affect, like, the results that I get from, like, the comparison and stuff like that. But it's just fun to look at. It's quick and easy, you know. I'm gonna be cutting out these load times, just so you know, like right there. We're gonna upgrade it now. The one thing I don't know what to do with is I like the sound I like how there's different sounds for stock engines and stuff, but there's always like a max engine you can get for each car, and it's gonna have a lot of power and everything, but it's gonna get pretty repetitive with the sounds of the engines, so I don't know if I want to keep them stock and upgrading them completely, or completely maxing out the entire car. And another thing is I don't want to change the stock drivetrain, so I want to upgrade and stuff, but I don't want to change it from what it's got right now, which is rear wheel drive. I don't want to be changing that, because if I just want to keep it like closely compared, because if you put a bunch of power in an all-wheel drive car, it's just gonna take off. It's not gonna. There's just complete differences between a rear-wheel drive launch and an all-wheel drive launch. It's just night and day right there. There's just so much more power put onto the ground than just being lost in wheel spin. But this engine that is put in this car has got a lot of power for a rear-wheel drive car. It's a 975, so it's pretty good for a rear-wheel drive car. Which plus the tires that are gonna be put on this, which is max size, aren't very large, so those racing slicks are going to be really important. Clutch is going to be very important too. Taking like a 300 horsepower or below clutch and then putting 900 horsepower into that clutch, yeah, you're going to shatter that clutch. But like I said, this is just a comparison test, and these episodes are just going to be comparisons between like the stock vehicle and an upgraded vehicle, and just to see like any differences. It's pretty much just an experiment, and on my end, which I'm just pretty set, like, what's the word, I'm very bad with words. If you haven't gotten to that, like, see, I can't even come up with a word for that. But I'm gonna be putting like the Forza arrow on there on all the cars, just to make sure it's comparison to all the other cars that are gonna be in these episodes. I'm not gonna be comparing cars to cars. I'm gonna be comparing the stock car to upgraded vehicle, but it's nice to keep it even between vehicles. Like I said, I want to keep the drivetrain the same, because it's not going to be fair if you put a bunch of power in a rear-wheel drive car and it's just going to be spinning the tires most of the time, and then put in lots of oversteer, and then putting it in an all-wheel drive car. There's a big difference between those, and you don't really want to put those in your experiments. That's just more variables to weed through. This car sounds amazing, by the way. I'll let you hear it. I just love the rattle of that exhaust. It's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But as you can see, this car is pretty freaking insane with all that power going to the rear wheels. Even though it has racing suspension, the suspension was still pretty high going through these corners. It didn't have as much of a roll, but you can still see the body roll as well, just slightly. And then once it gets over a certain amount of body roll, then it starts kicking out the ass end. But that oak steering wheel is just amazing. They used to make some amazing things back in the classic ages. Yeah, this is gonna be a very tricky corner for a lot of vehicles. I'm not putting in failed like attempts on this track, because then these episodes would be way too long if I put all of those in. Because I have failed trying to drive this car on this map. If the car fails too many times, I'm just gonna put the best time possible in a failed scenario. Like if I'm going off course and I'm just fed up with the car, I'm just gonna drive it back to the line, because that's another thing. If the car's too difficult, then there's no reason to upgrade that car to that spec. And that's pretty much all I have to say for the experiment. If you guys have any questions on what I'm really doing in these episodes, just put them in the comments down below, as well as I'd like some criticism on how I could make my videos better, either audioly, like through like what you're hearing currently, or visually on your screen right now. Like anything I could make it look better, or your listening scenario a little bit better, and that corner is going to be very difficult as well for high-powered vehicles. And just put that down in the comments below. Plus, any tips you guys might have on how I could be a better driver, maybe for Forza Motorsport 6. If you didn't know, that's the game I'm playing right now. I'm gonna grade this as well. This is like a normal supercar burnout. It's like nice and squirrely, getting a bunch of donuts and stuff like that. There's gonna be these points, like I said. It's just because I want to. I'm just gonna do some burnouts. But that's it, guys. I'll see you in the next episode. And thanks for watching.